Question, true or false? You ask someone out on a date and they say no. You stay talking, you stay friends, and it even feels like they're flirting with you a little bit. You should keep asking them out because they're obviously playing hard to get. The answer is false. No means no. Hi, I'm Samantha Biddy, sexual health and consent educator, and this episode of Sexy Sexual Health Education is about how to flirt or to holler at somebody in a consent culture. Now, I'm not entirely sure if people are actually meeting up in person at this point, but we're going to talk about how to flirt and how to holler both online and in person. Before we get into all the nuances of flirting with someone in a consent culture, let's define consent culture. Firstly, a culture is the sets of attitudes, values, and beliefs that then translate into our actions, our rituals, our interactions, both at a micro level, so like our personal ideologies, the ways that we communicate with each other, regulate each other, as well as at like a larger macro level, like our institutions of education, like a university, for example. As it relates to sex and dating and relationships, the culture we often hear the most about is quote unquote rape culture, which exists sort of like a pyramid with things like the language we use, the behaviors that we normalize, all culminating into the top of the pyramid, which is where we see things like gender-based violence and sexual violence. Rape culture is often informed by misogyny, patriarchy, the gender binary, heteronormativity, and rape culture is where we get a lot of our ideas about what it is to try to come on to somebody or to ask them out and all of the power dynamics that exist with that. Just look at fairy tales. People be kissing you while you're asleep, chasing you all around the way, never taking no for an answer. Think about Bugs Bunny. Did you ever see Bugs Bunny, that skunk who was always doing that? Or the cat, was he a skunk? Yeah, he was always chasing that cat around and she was like, and it was like, oh, he painted a stripe on her. She must be into it. Like all of those sorts of things are just like the sanitizing of rape culture to make us think like, oh, this is how we interact. This is how we ask somebody out. And if they say no, it's because they're playing hard to get. That's not to say that nobody ever plays hard to get, but that whole concept exists within that structure of rape culture. So all of that, what is consent culture? I don't even want to diminish it by calling it the response to that. It is a separate framework that imagines a world where even from being a little child, we get to decide to the best of our ability through our conscious capabilities to be given information, to make informed decisions that are best for us as unique individuals, as well as the collective whole, as well as personal autonomy, agency, the dignity of making our own mistakes, an invitation into experiences, and the opportunity to decide that is for me or it isn't, or it's for me in this way or it's not, and the ability to change whatever that decision is at any given point. Consent and consent culture isn't just about sex and relationships, but we're here to talk about the sex and relationships part. Not necessarily sex, but the romantic, pleasure-seeking type relationships. If a lot of the social rules, so to speak, around us tend to lean into the hetero norm that like man chases woman, assumes certain genders even exist, or that they are assigned certain types of behaviors or roles within the flirting, dating dynamic. Not only does that completely prevent people from being embodied or empowered in what it is that they want to experience from their relationships, but it also leaves a ton of people out of the conversation. So if we don't have access to popular social rules that are rooted in a consent culture, where do we learn the rules? What are the rules? I love this part. You get to make your own rules.